Off Trips, Places, and Fun, where we show you how to have fun and exciting family-friendly adventures.
My name's John.
And today we are coming at you live from the Carnival Imagination out here in the Pacific Ocean, somewhere between Ensenada, Mexico and Long Beach, California.
Yep. So we are going to be talking about the differences between our very first cruise, which was Royal Caribbean, and then Carnival, this is our second cruise. It's not an apples to apples comparison because there's a lot of differences. Ships are different and itineraries, of course, but there's some things I think that we can definitely talk about. And by the way, feel free to ask any questions that you have, and as we see the chat pop in, we will do our best to talk with you.
Yeah, and so just to let you know what exactly we are comparing, in May, we took our first cruise. That was on Royal Caribbean's Mariner of the Seas, and we went out of Port Canaveral, and we traveled to, help me out here, where did we go?
We went to Coco Cay, their private island, which was amazing.
Right, that was our second day.
Nassau.
And then our first day was Nassau, so that was that trip.
Your head's kind of not in the picture.
Is it not in the picture? Okay, how do I get it in the picture?
I think you sit up a little bit. Sit up nice and straight.
Okay, let's go. Can we do that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And then just this cruise is Carnival's Imagination out of Long Beach. And our first day we went to Catalina Island, and our second day we went to Ensenada, Mexico. Now we're headed back.
Yeah.
So those are our two cruises. So definitely not apples to apples. Mariner of the Seas.
Bigger ship.
Yes, has over 4,000 passengers it can hold, and this ship can only hold around 2,000. So about half the size, half their passengers.
I bet you this ship is half of that even. It's not
maybe
full at all.
2/3 full or something. So, we're not comparing apples to apples. It was definitely different ships, different itineraries, different ports. But just to let you know where we're coming from, those are our two comparisons.
So,
one is East Coast, one is West Coast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we're going to kick into it, and if you guys have questions, if you do, let us know. If not, we will just power through this and get you getting some good information.
Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about is the price. We're just going to hit point after point after point and let you know which cruise line we feel did a better job and why. So, sometimes it's going to be Carnival and sometimes it's going to be Royal Caribbean, and we'll let you know why we made that decision. The first one is price, and as you all can probably guess, Carnival is quite a bit cheaper. Of course, we are not comparing apples to apples like we said, but our cruise on Royal Caribbean, and this was the same number of nights, by the way, each one was, hey, living the good life.
That's what we're doing right now.
So each of the cruises was 4 nights, and our Royal Caribbean cruise cost around $1,200, and our Carnival cruise cost about $700. Now, of course, that's going to differ, just based on where you're traveling out of, your ports, of course, how many nights, all that's going to change. Yeah. Whether you choose a balcony or an ocean view, or and to also let you know, we had a balcony with Royal Caribbean. This one we just have portholes, so that's part of the difference. So all of that is going to play into it, but overall Carnival is going to be cheaper, and Carnival probably is one of the cheapest. It was $1,200 for both of us cruising on Royal Caribbean, and $700 for both of us cruising on Carnival. So not per person, but for both.
Right, and we started out researching Disney, which is way more expensive than Royal Caribbean, and so that's a whole other realm. So we were pleasantly surprised when we saw Royal Caribbean was so much cheaper, but then, of course, now on our second cruise, Carnival was cheaper still.
Yes, so and you're just going to see that overall that Carnival usually does have the cheaper prices. So as far as price goes, I guess Carnival has to win in that category, but we'll move on to why that might be the case. The next thing we're going to talk about is the terminal. So as you're waiting to board your cruise ship, what that was like. Now again, this is just Port Canaveral versus Long Beach, and we actually loved Carnival's terminal.
Yeah, it's great.
It was very cute. It was very, they made you feel like you were in the mountains. They had a huge mural that covered it was a dome, a giant dome, and this huge mural covered the entire dome, and then they had fake trees in there and park benches, and they made you feel like you were in a national park as you waited. And Royal Caribbean's terminal over there in Port Canaveral, it felt like an airport terminal. So we really liked Carnival's terminal this time. What one will be the best with kids? Boy, if I were
That's a tough question.
Yeah, if I were to compare the two, it'd be hard for me to choose because here in on Carnival's cruise line on the Imagination, it's Dr. Seuss themed, and so they did have today. They had a Dr. Seuss parade and Dr. Seuss story time. Yesterday they had a Hasbro game show and stuff like that. Royal Caribbean, I'm sure has fun kid stuff too, but we weren't really. I can't really remember because we didn't really.
If I had to choose between the two, I would say Royal Caribbean. Carnival feels a little more adult most of the time, a little more party, which we're not into that scene. And they did have the Hasbro game show night, which was cool, and they did have this little Dr. Seuss parade story time kind of thing, which the kids would like. But you get on to the Mariner of the Seas with Royal Caribbean, they have a lot of amenities, which we'll get into that later, but there's just so much more to do.
Yeah, so I think I would have to agree with you. So even though there definitely is stuff for the kids on Carnival, it does have that more adult feel, and they talk a lot about drinking, gambling, things like that. And
we were sitting through one of the shows, and we're like, "Oh boy, this isn't good for even us."
We couldn't have our kids
definitely not
in this
the kids.
show. And so anyway, yeah, I think Royal Caribbean feels a little bit more family oriented, in my opinion, based on the two cruises we did.
And by the way, those of you that are watching the replay, we're responding to live questions here, which is why we'll be back and forth between topics. So that's what's happening.
Okay, so the next thing we're going to compare is the ship/amenities, and this is the thing I would say that probably is the most unfair to compare, just because if you have a ship that can take 4,000 guests versus a ship that can take 2,000 guests, obviously the bigger ship is going to have way more amenities. So just keep that in mind as we talk about this. But obviously Royal Caribbean's ship, Mariner of the Seas, had so many amenities. I mean, they had an escape room on there, they had laser tag, they had a flow rider
for surfing,
which is like surfing. They had, I'm trying to think, mini golf. They had all sorts of water park type stuff.
Yeah.
They had, did I say a trampoline park thingy? Yeah, and just like so many amenities. And here we are at Carnival Imagination. They do have a little putt-putt course. They have a water slide.
Couple water slides.
Yeah, a couple water slides. I'm trying to think.
Mariner of the Seas had an ice skating rink. They had an ice skating show.
Yeah.
Are we going to talk about shows specific, or is
we're getting to entertainment.
Oh, I see.
But so, and then here on Carnival, I'm trying to think what else they have. I mean, they have an arcade, a pool, of course. Both of them have pools and hot tubs and
this
all
pool
of that.
is much smaller, though. The pool deck is smaller. Mariner of the Seas had a big video screen over the pool. This one doesn't.
Yeah, so definitely way more amenities on Mariner of the Seas.
Yeah.
However, I will say that because this ship has so fewer people aboard, that's kind of nice, because when we were on Mariner of the Seas, we felt like everywhere we went, there were just people everywhere. I mean, the pool was so crowded, the hot tub was so crowded. Here, a lot of times we would walk by the pool and there would be hardly anybody in it. So,
yeah, we played mini golf, which is actually right behind us. I'll see if you guys can see. There's mini golf right there. And we didn't have to do nothing. Just grab a putter and go.
The question was, which one is the best for free food?
We're gonna get into food, so press pause on that.
Yes,
we'll get into that.
We will talk about food shortly. But very good question, because that's what I always want to know about.
That's actually our favorite part about cruising is the food.
All right. So
what other amenities? Is that all? We probably knocked it all out, right? I mean,
that's most of them.
And there's also the bigger class ships that we really want to experience with Royal Caribbean that even have much greater amenities. I mean, there's courtyards and carousels and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, so in that, if somebody had asked earlier about which is better for the kids, I would also say probably a bigger ship because you have so many more activities like that. And on your sea days, I mean, if the kids aren't wanting to just hang out and sunbathe, they can do laser tag, and they can do, you know, trampoline, and they can do all those sorts of things. But yeah, so that's something to think about as well.
All right.
All right, so moving on, customer care.
This is an interesting one, because let me start by saying this: we are huge Disney fans, right? And Disney has beyond phenomenal customer care. And so when we took our Royal Caribbean cruise, we were blown away, and our takeaway was that their customer service was better even than Disney. And so you got to understand kind of where we were coming from. We were just blown away. It was phenomenal the way that they took care of us.
Honestly, they treated us like royalty. We had never experienced anything like the customer care that we received on Royal Caribbean. So of course, that being said, our vote hands down for customer service goes to Royal Caribbean. Carnival, we haven't had any issues. They've been great. They've been courteous. There just wasn't that extra.
It's not over the top. It feels like they're doing what they need to do, what's appropriate, what they should, but it doesn't feel over the top.
Now I will say that the dinner service on both
really good.
is excellent.
Yep.
So the
Our
dinner
server's
service
great.
Here on Carnival, the dinner service on Royal Caribbean, very comparable, both excellent. But everything else, Royal Caribbean, hands down.
Yeah, there's people walking around all the time asking if you want a drink. We don't typically drink, and so we always say no. And sometimes they'll just turn around as if you're, because they're not going to get a tip from you now, and you can kind of feel that vibe
here on Carnival. Yeah, so it's we've gotten great service here, but it wasn't, I guess, what we were expecting, just because it was so over the top.
Our room steward at Royal Caribbean, boy, he was like standing in the hallway, like almost all day long, which was crazy. He knew us by name, and Mr. John, Miss Amy, and was always there. And he cleaned our room 2-3 times
every
a day.
time we would leave our room.
Every time
he
we would
go in and clean our room. Every single time. And so I just, never experienced anything like that. So
what do you call him? The maitre d's, what you call him? He actually shelled my shrimp for me in Royal Caribbean.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. John didn't know how to shell his shrimp, so he said, "Here, let me do that for you," and he did that. So just that extra kind of jump up for the customer service there at with Royal Caribbean.
Hey, why don't we swap these two, since someone really had a question about food?
All right, so next we'll talk about the food, and honestly, it is hard for me to choose. They are both great.
Super good.
The food options for both were excellent. In the dining room, the main dining room, they have given us, like we said, incredible service. I'm gluten-free. Both places have allowed me to put my orders in the day before, and the chefs will cook something just for me. And here on Carnival, I even, threw out some things like, "Oh, can you make this special thing for me that was on the menu, but normally it's not available gluten-free?" And they did it. They made it from scratch so that it would be gluten-free with gluten-free ingredients. And so stuff like that is just, amazing. That
the dinner service, both places was beyond anything we would have expected, because we'd never cruised. This is our second cruise, and so both of them really amazing. That you can order anything you want, as much as you want.
And the food on both is going to be free unless you really want to upgrade. But the food we honestly have not, paid for extra. I mean, of course, it's included in your cruise fare, but we haven't paid for any of the extra food options because there really is no need. I mean, there's always food available. There's a free buffet that's
24
open.
hours pizza.
Yeah, here there's 24-hour pizza. There's always something to eat, and it's always wonderful. And then when you eat at the main dining room, that's where you get the really higher end food. But honestly, they're both great for food. I would have. I can highly recommend both.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And today they had the chocolate extravaganza, and so you just go and just chocolate cake.
It was
and
a whole buffet.
A chocolate buffet.
Just chocolate things.
And so cruising really for us is the cheapest way to vacation. If you don't spend the extra. So there's always options to spend more. You can upgrade and get lobster and steak if you want to, but there's just no reason. The regular food that's free, that's included, is so good. we don't, like I said, we don't drink, and so we're not spending all this money on drinks, and so you don't have to pay much extra at all. In fact, we just looked at our bill today, didn't we? Like our extras, it wasn't much. We just
it was like $160, and a big portion of that is the gratuities, because they do build gratuities in, and it's like $14 per person per day. So that was the biggest part, and the other stuff was just like little stuff we decided to do here and there. But for the most part, there is no reason to pay extra for your food. Now, if you are a person that has to have your soda is not included, so you would have to get
falling off, because this ship is rocking.
It is. It's really rough.
These smaller
today.
ships, by the way, you feel it a little more, and I like it because it's like being rocked like a baby.
I actually don't care for it, but surprisingly I have not had any issue with motion sickness, which I thought I might, because I get really car sick easily. But even with as rough as it is, and you feel a little dizzy and you can feel the rocking, I have not had issues with motion sickness, so that's good. But anyway, if you feel like you have to have your soda, you have to purchase a soda package, and those can be kind of expensive. Or if you're a person that drinks, of course, that's above and beyond. But what's included? You get juices in the morning for free. You can always have iced tea and lemonade and coffee for free, and water, of course. And so we haven't felt like we needed to spend the extra on any of those drink packages.
And you always have your choice between the main dining room and the buffet, and they're both great. The main dining room is a step up. You're going to have better service and better food, but even the buffet is really, really good. I'm eating cheese and grapes right now. What are your favorite cheeses? I don't know. I like any cheese.
Yeah, I like probably cheddar. I probably have to go for cheddar,
Sharp
being my
cheddar.
very favorite. Yeah, Sharp cheddar. Let's see. My family is going on a cruise in 2021 with 4 kids under 5. So I'm trying to see what is better. So
4 kids under 5. I would say if you're loaded, do Disney. If you're not, I would do a bigger Royal Caribbean ship, one of the larger ones. The 4,000 or 6,000, I think some of the mega ships hold. So that's probably what I'd recommend.
Yeah, Mariner of the Seas was great. I heard Odyssey of the Seas is really great.
Allure of the Seas.
Yeah, so any of those I think would be great.
And kids being 5 and under, they may not appreciate Disney as much being that young. So you could probably get away with not doing Disney because it is a lot more money.
Yeah, it is. But of course, it is more centered around children. Whereas Carnival definitely is more adult oriented. Royal Caribbean, I would say a little bit more towards adult than kids, but more family.
So with Carnival, it has a reputation of being a party cruise, and in a way that's true, in a way not. I mean, right now we're sitting and it's nice, and there's families and children walking around, and it's not this crazy party vibe, but people will jump on this boat and go down to Ensenada like we did, and they'll drink all day, and so it's kind of both. You have both vibes going on.
You choose your activities. Obviously, we've been going to bed at 9 p.m., so we haven't hit any of the adult stuff. Today we went to the Dr. Seuss parade.
We were the
only ones without children there.
the only ones without children. We went to the Dr. Seuss parade.
Yeah, but so that's kind of. Did you see that last question? I saw we just missed one.
She said that they're bringing like 15 people or something.
Oh,
I think.
Fun. That'll be a great time. So, all right. So moving on to the next thing to compare is entertainment, and we had a really great time here yesterday at the Hasbro Game Show.
Hasbro Game Show was great.
I got to be on the show. They picked me to go up there.
And a future TPF video will have the video of that.
Yeah, so it was
one of the
fun.
edited videos.
It was kind of like a cross between skee ball and that game Operation, where you're picking the body parts, out of the guy. And so I got to play that game. It was super fun. We loved that. Other than that, I will say the entertainment on Carnival that we've seen is way more adult than way stuff we don't really like. So we were in a show and we felt like we wanted to get up and leave halfway through, but we didn't because it would have been awkward.
Right in the middle of the front row.
Yeah, so the entertainment here on Carnival is very adult in my opinion, other than the stuff that is really geared toward the children.
I would say, we're coming from a family here, it's not really appropriate in my opinion. I did not really appreciate the main show, but back on Royal Caribbean, they had some great stuff.
Yeah, so the Royal Caribbean entertainment we much prefer, just because it was much more family oriented, family friendly, and some really great entertainment and really great shows.
They had a
Now,
circus on ice, which was really good.
that was really fun. Now, again, we were comparing two major differences in the sizes of ships. So, you know, a ship that has 2,000 passengers versus a ship that has 4,000. Of course, the bigger ship is going to have better entertainment and more entertainment, because that ship had two pretty good sized theaters there on Royal Caribbean.
And then again, bringing Disney into it, I know that's a ship we haven't been on yet, but the rumor is, it's more than a rumor, it's true. We've researched it. They have some Broadway style shows. Of course, the Disney shows like Frozen and whatever on those boats, which that is a huge draw, and we would love to do that someday. So that's another step up. But Royal Caribbean, really, I was impressed with the shows.
Yeah, they had very good entertainment, and we really loved it. So
the Canadian was funny.
And not dirty. And
well, you got to choose between.
Oh, okay. You got to make sure you read your compass, your cruise compass. It lets you know what ages it's appropriate for. So we would always choose the family friendly one and go to that one. But make sure you check that out, because you'd hate to accidentally, if you're careful about what you watch, like we are, you'd hate to accidentally end up in the wrong one.
And it's usually the after hours time slot.
Yeah, the later it gets, the more, kind of crazy it gets. But all right, so definitely for entertainment.
And there's other entertainment that like singing in the lounges and things like that we just we have no input on, because we haven't really.
And there's a lot of little activities on both ships that you could do throughout the day. Today you could learn to make the towel animals that the stewards put on your bed every day, and you could learn to they had an ice carver, and so a lot of little
flatten
things.
your stomach seminar, which I probably should do that.
Yeah, they have
a posture seminar,
health and fitness seminar. Both of them, how to make different kinds of food. And so
murder mysteries.
Yeah, we did a murder mystery on Royal Caribbean. That was really fun. And so there's all these smaller types of entertainment, which are, much smaller crowds, where you'll go in, there'll maybe be like 20 people there or something. And those are really fun to do if you have some extra time on your hands. And so
all right.
Yeah. Moving on to the next one is the ports. We talked a little bit about this, and it's, of course,
this is different.
Yeah.
It's almost not even worth dealing or talking about this, because it's different no matter what ship you're on. But that's something to take into consideration. Like here, I think Carnival is the only ship that goes out of Long Beach, is it?
I'm not sure, but we really enjoyed the ports
Catalina.
this time. Catalina Island was amazing.
Super awesome.
And beautiful. And Ensenada, we got some really unique history. We love doing that too.
And those videos will be upcoming in a future video, also edited version of a video.
Yeah, and then in Royal Caribbean, we got to go to their private island. Now that is something that you really must see at least once, is Royal Caribbean's private island, Coco Cay. And
if you're trying to think, okay, which is the best, and you have the option between going to Royal Caribbean's private island and just a regular port, that private island is worth it for sure.
Yeah, it's just, 360 degrees of beautiful beaches, pristine beaches.
Brand new water park.
A huge pool that's like, I think, the largest pool in North America or something they
like
said. And freshwater pool. And so just amazing. So definitely check out that private island. And, Disney has their own private island, Castaway Cay. And
Carnival does too. Carnival has a Half Moon Cay.
Oh, okay. So, and those are all, is that in the Bahamas as well?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so those are usually over there in the Bahamas. And okay, so the last thing that we want to talk about is the key versus faster to the fun. So these are kind of your little bit of an upgrade if you want kind of priority service, that sort of thing. And so we did both. We did the key on Royal Caribbean, and we did faster to the fun on Carnival. So the way that the key worked was we paid $20 per person per night. So for the two of us, we're talking about almost $160. Now that did include Wi-Fi for 2 devices, so you factor that in. Now what that gave us was priority boarding, priority disembarking into our ports, And then
reserved seats at the shows, which is great in the first few rows.
Reserved seats at the shows. That was awesome. And then little perks like they brought, trays of food to our suite.
Cheese. Talking about cheese, was like cheese and fruit, right?
Yeah, cheese and fruit tray. Just little things like that where they just made you feel special. And so I think we felt like it was definitely worth it for the two of us. Now we are cruising Royal Caribbean again in November with the kids. There will be 5 of us, and an extra night. We're going to do 5 nights.
You have to pay for either nobody or everybody.
Yeah, and so that is going to be cost prohibitive for us at that point. So we are not getting the key.
So we'll probably get internet just for one device.
Yeah. Now the way that Faster to the Fun worked was it's just one fee for your whole room, regardless of how many people are in your suite. So it was, I think we paid $50 for our stateroom. There was no reserved seating or anything like that. So that was kind of a bummer that we didn't have that, but we did have priority boarding. The nice thing was our stateroom was ready as soon as we got on the ship. So we got on the ship at 11:30. Everyone else had their staterooms ready at 1:30. Ours was ready right away. So we got to go straight to our room, drop off our bags. It was nice not having to carry all of our things around with us. So that's something to think about, having a set fee like that, just the $50 as opposed to having to pay for every single person in your party. That helped a little bit, but they didn't have the priority seating. They didn't have something they had on Royal Caribbean with the key was you got private times for all the amenities, like the rock wall, the rock climbing, and the flow rider. We might need to take a break for an announcement from our cruise director.
For our military appreciation gathering, held in the Ensenada Lounge in under 5 minutes at 4:30. This is a very special gathering to honor the courage and commitment of our service members and to recognize their families and loved ones. Please be sure to join us as we'll be commencing with the military appreciation gathering right now here in the lounge located on Promenade Deck number 9 to the back of the ship. Thank you, everybody, and see you soon.
So that's cool. They're doing a military appreciation banquet.
Hey, Scott. And we need to. I think we should add something to the list. Talk about the difference in cruise directors or entertainment directors. Because I mean, I don't know. I didn't expect that. So we'll talk about that in a minute.
Okay, so anyway, something else they had with the key at Royal Caribbean was you got private times. Scott wants to know about paying for internet on
That's
the
kind of what
ship.
we're talking about right now is these priority programs. The key with Royal Caribbean gets you internet. It's included in that priority program, not with Royal Caribbean.
Right.
Not with
so with
Carnival,
with Carnival, what we did most recently is we just got internet for one device. So mostly John has it on his phone, and every now and then if I need to check my email or something, he logs out and I log in and we can swap.
And how much was it?
But that costs $15 per day per device. So we paid $60 the 4-night cruise to have one device. So it was not included in Faster to the Fun, where with Royal Caribbean it was included in the key for 2 devices. So that's also something to consider as you're thinking about Faster to the Fun and the key. So anyway, cruise director.
Cruise directors, tell them what that is, because people that have never cruised.
So the cruise director is kind of,
or the entertainment director. Isn't that what they're called?
Well, they call him the cruise director.
Okay, whatever.
But that basically is what it is. It's the entertainment director, the person that is in charge of all the activities and entertainment. You see them usually before every show. They make most of the announcements.
They're very outgoing and gregarious.
And boy, they have a lot of energy and they have a lot of responsibility. We talked about how these people never get a break. They go from event to event to event every day.
So they're judging the hairy chest competition, which I didn't enter that. and let's see what the belly flop competition.
Yeah, things like that.
And then the Susical parade and the nighttime shows.
They never run out of energy, and they're full of fun. And they were both fun. They were both just
absolutely.
high energy. And but yeah, I never knew there was anything like that called a cruise director.
And
but
so they keep
everything going.
Yeah, they keep everything going. That was her on the. Her name's Mel. That was her on the announcement. So they'll come over the loudspeakers and stay engaged with everybody. But yeah, I think it adds a lot to your cruise. I didn't expect that.
Yeah, you kind of start to feel like you know them, even though they don't know you, but you see them all over the place all the time. So anyway, let's see. I guess that's all the
Does
info
anybody?
we have. Does anyone have any questions?
Any questions? We'll give you a few seconds if you have questions.
So internet, for Royal Caribbean, subscriber count, we're over 1,000. So I think we're like at 1,050 now or something like that.
1,060 maybe. I don't know, something like this. I can't.
So we've been able to monetize, and so since we monetized, we have made about $20.
Yes!
We're really excited.
$20.
But I think internet for Royal Caribbean without the key, I think it was $12.99 per night per device. So that's kind of how that works. So basically, lots of things are extra with your cruise. You can choose to pick as much or as little as you want. Internet is one of those things that is extra. Drink packages are extra. Excursions are extra. So when you go tour, that was extra.
That was $75 person plus we tipped $40, right?
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. You just gotta, and then when we were at Catalina, we didn't do an excursion. Well, when we got there, we decided to do the golf cart rental, which was great.
Which was not through Carnival. Isn't it against YouTube rules to state how much you've made on YouTube?
You look at there's loads of videos where people actually show you actual what do you call it?
Checks.
Statements, yeah.
Yeah. And you can look up online and see your famous YouTubers. You can see how much they make just from Google ads and stuff, which a lot of them are making like 7 million or something awesome like that. That's not us. So, but yeah, basically any YouTuber you want who makes a lot, you can see what they make if you're interested. So, but any other questions, anybody, before we sign off?
Because we are now cruise experts. 2 cruises.
But we are taking another one in November. We're super excited, and that one is going to be with our children. That'll be our first time cruising with children. Our 3 youngest.
We're scared.
They're 6, 9, and 12. And we didn't say this earlier, but both Carnival and Royal Caribbean have programs for kids, and they're included. I think once you get late at night, you have to pay extra, but they're included for the kids. So if you want to check the kids in, they can play and have fun with other kids their age. There's even a junior high area, and I think maybe some of them have high school areas. But so I don't know if our kids are going to want to do that, but that's available if they do. And so that's an option too for those of you cruising with children. So anyway,
how do you like this? Can you see that sun? It's not a sunset quite yet, but
the sun on the ocean
over there. There's the sun on the ocean.
Do you plan on giving a tour of the boat?
Should we walk around a little bit?
We can probably record the tour and then have it available later. But we did do a tour of our stateroom. So if anyone's interested, and that's something we did not talk about in our comparisons. Our staterooms.
Balcony, for me anyway, is way better because I truly enjoy just sitting and watching the water and smelling it and hearing it, and I haven't been able to really do that except out here in the public area.
Balcony, of course, is way more expensive, but all in all, the Carnival staterooms are a little bit smaller than Royal Caribbean, but still have everything you need. It wasn't that big of a deal. I mean, 20 square feet doesn't make it or break it, in my opinion.
When you're in that room, you're not doing anything but laying on the bed or that's my taking a shower.
Yeah, but we'll have to do a
food
tour.
Review. He said do food reviews. Yeah, we talked about food a little bit already.
And we show I think we show some of our food in our recordings that we've done. So when we post our videos of, of this cruise, we'll show you some of the food. But yes, so in upcoming videos, you will get a tour of the stateroom, and we can probably do a tour of the Carnival Imagination as well.
Yeah, and actually what we'll do here in just a moment, I'll just walk with the phone because over here is kind of the main area to let you take a look at that. It's windy though. We're in a little cubby right here. We've had to find like a perfect place where it's not windy, but so you might be hearing lots of wind noise as we get out there. But I'll take you around. You can take a look at it.
All right. Well, why don't
we do that now? Let me flip
travels, everyone.
Flip this camera around. There we go. There's the mini golf course. So this is the back of it, or the front of the ship rather. Woo! That wind. Boy, I don't know if you guys can hear it. See how empty it is? It's just so quiet. If this was Royal Caribbean, when we went on, it would just be slamming. So up here, you guys are going to see the pool area. We'll give you a bird's eye view of it. And then, are we going to dinner next, Amy?
Yeah, but not for a while.
Oh, not for a while. But look at that. Isn't that beautiful? It's almost as beautiful as that.
Oh, you're cute.
We should probably go down. It's too hard to see. Go down these stairs. We're gonna go down these stairs. This is something we haven't done.
The jogging track.
Definitely should.
We should be doing the jogging track.
Oh, hey, did you see my t-shirt? Can you see it, Amy?
Yeah.
It's our new merch shirt.
We say merch, we mean we can wear them, but you can't buy them yet.
Yeah, you can't buy them quite yet. How do y'all like that? Got some cornhole going on down there. Scott wants to know what's the best way to book a cruise, Amy.
So honestly, I just go to all the individual cruise lines and
Book direct?
Book direct. Now you can, some people say the best way to do it is go through a travel agent because you can sometimes get cruise credits and stuff like that. But I've honestly just booked direct with all mine, and I've managed to find a lot of those credits myself. But I'm the type who likes to do research and likes to figure out, like, try to find the cheapest price. I like that. So if you don't like that, then you could always do a travel agent.
Play a little shuffleboard here if we want to. Oh, and here's the water slides. I have a 4-year-old daughter. What age is appropriate to take her and the wife on a cruise? Well, we're going to take our 6-year-old daughter.
Yeah, we're taking our 6-year-old here in November, and honestly, we've seen infants.
Oh, there's lots of kids.
Infants and toddlers and children. So
I mean, over there you can see a little tiny, I bet he's like 2 years old, 1.5 maybe.
Little tiny guy playing in the water. So really, kids of all ages can do it.
So if you have any more questions, you have about 15 seconds, and I'm going to go ahead and shut this down, give you a view this way. And that's the rear of the ship. And then here's the water park. That's a pretty cool view, Haim. Any last questions? Going once and going twice. Anybody? All right, guys. Well, stay tuned for our upcoming edited videos. They will be coming very soon. And, well, all right, he says I'm good. All right, Scott and everybody else, thanks for joining us. And we will see you next time.